Hey guys, what's going on? It's Chris. So I don't know if who's seen my last video or not, but so since then I said I was going to set up another camera that I had, which I did, and I think it's much better. So you can see I can zoom in here on the target, and I can actually move this camera around, so I can turn it that way a little bit to, there we go, and then zoom in a little bit more so you can see right what I'm shooting at. I just have to change, I'm going to replace that middle target and put something on the other end, but I have that brand new target on the left. Hopefully you guys can see it. It looks like you can. I'm going to turn you this way a little more so you can see it better. So I'm going to just throw a new target on those two, but this is the second video I'm making about the Skout. So just to fill you in, since the last video that I made, I did some trial and error with it. I did figure out how to turn off the voice. The voice is off, and I set it to, you get a full 60 minutes shooting, and then you just turn it back on when it shuts off. You can go up to 60 minutes, so I did, but if you're not going to be shooting it, don't go the 60 minutes, because the trigger is really like a hair trigger. I mean, the trigger on my raw was impressively light. It's really a match trigger, and this is even lighter, like so much lighter. This is an incredibly light trigger. I mean, it just, if you haven't shot one, it's an electric trigger. So, I mean, it's as simple as an airsoft gun. It's really that light. It's incredibly light. So it's great for bench shooting and accuracy shooting, but it's also dangerous if you don't know how light it is and you're not taking precautions. So just be careful of that. And so I tried shooting slugs. I was shooting at first around 60 grain. I wasn't getting the accuracy I was looking for, so I went lighter to 55 and then to 47. And the 47 grains were a little bit better, but I wasn't really shooting very accurately with the slugs, but it had shot so accurately with pellets. Pellets were sub MOA. This is 50 yards here, and I was literally inside of a half an inch circle. So it's pretty incredibly accurate when you're shooting at something that's, when you're shooting at the right ammunition. And the 3 barrel liners, I tried all 3. The gun doesn't like cheap pellets, so don't put cheap pellets in it, because I bought several tins on Amazon of, I don't even remember the manufacturer, and I was shooting those and not getting much accuracy at all. And the reason turned out to be because with I turn around and put Diablo Exact 50.15 or the 44 grain, and it shoots them dead on out of all of the barrels. I went from the positive to the even to the negative, and I'm still on the negative, and last I was shooting the positive with the JSB Exact, and it's dead on still. I just had to adjust the point of aim a little bit, but it's right on. So it really matters the ammunition you use with it. It likes the JSB Exact. So, but for the slug thing, they are coming out with slug liners, and it's not going to be for a while, I guess, especially for the 30 caliber, because they're going to do 22 first and work their way up. So what I did is I met Bill, one of the owners, the two brothers. I actually met them both, but I talked to Bill for a while when I met him at the competition in New Hampshire at NAC. So I spoke to him in the parking lot of the hotel. We were staying at the same hotel, and I was flying a drone when he came back, and he remembered because of that when I spoke to him on the phone. And I called to ask him about tuning and about the liners and whatnot. And so as it turns out, he has someone that he refers to for you know, information on their experience and stuff, so he knows to tell customers. And he did get me some information from him, and it was that he had success with the hybrids, which are not really slugs. So what I also saw when I was looking online was that a couple of people said that they had conversions for the STX liner for slugs. So what I did is I asked them if they had made those and if they could do one for me, and he said they could, but it would be a little while. It's going to be, you know, 4 or 6 weeks or something. He said 4 weeks, but I said, you know, you don't have to rush whenever you can. I appreciate you doing it. I mean, I'm sure it's something I could do, but if they already have the design for it on a CNC software, you know, the time it's going to take is honestly way more time than these videos would take me. And you know, I guess I could do a video about it, but it's going to be a time-consuming process. It's doing the design and taking all the measurements and making sure. I'm sure I'm going to have to do it at least a couple of times to make it perfect. And if they already have done that, then just let them do it one more time. So what I did is I sent him my 800 millimeter 30 caliber FX liner. I had a heavy slug liner, 800 millimeter. I sent that into him, and I already sent that early this week. It's Friday now. I did that last video. I don't recall. It was about a week ago. So he's already got it, I'm sure. But like I said, they're using their equipment to make paintball guns right now. So maybe a month. Whenever I get it, I'll make a video for you guys. I'll show you how the accuracy is with the slugs. But I anticipate it would be pretty good because 800 millimeter barrel, or liner rather, I'm sure there'll probably be a spacer at the end for the, because this is a little more than 800 millimeters. There'll probably be a filler at the end, or maybe he'll just make it a shorter barrel. I'm not sure what exactly he's going to do, but we didn't discuss it in detail like that. It was through text at that point, I think. We talked on the phone a couple of times for a little while, but we texted after he had gotten the information from the guy that he gets information from. I guess he's like a SWAT officer in California somewhere that is able to shoot, like, you know, all the time, and he's into air guns. So anyways, the slug liner, the FX STX heavy slug liner, or superior heavy, whatever it's called, I sent that out, and I'll have that back, and I will make another video for slug accuracy. But anyways, it just goes to show you what kind of company it is. And you know, I mean, the gun is a really high quality gun. I have to shoot pellets in bench rest anyway, so for the air gun competitions, I've been looking into the 22 NRL. They're doing an air gun division now, so I think I'm going to do that this coming year. But for now, either way, I'll still do the air gun competitions. I probably won't make it to all of them like I didn't this year, but I'll make it to as many as I can. That's about it. I mean, I'll keep you guys informed. I'm gonna do some shooting, do some accuracy testing, and show you how this thing shoots. Now that I've been messing with it, and also so the dwell time, the high and low pressure, they can all be adjusted. The high pressure is going to give you they really kind of have to. It's like the hammer tension mixed with the regulator pressure and the second stage regulator pressure, and on an impact, you know, in comparison, it's they all have to synchronize, just like on an impact, all of the adjustments on an impact have to synchronize, and you have to find that zone where you're in the right spot at the right velocity with the right weight projectile. The only difference is with an FX, you have a twist rate that a slug can be accurate at, because this is a high twist rate, and it's too high for slugs to be very accurate. So They're going to make I think 16 to 1 or something for slugs, but I think these are like 30 to 1. It's almost double what a slug would be accurate at, but it's good for pellets. I mean, obviously this is shooting them really straight. I don't know how FX still shoots the pellets straight though. I'm not sure how they ended up doing a slower twist rate, and even the regular STX liners, not the heavy superior, they still shoot pellets and slugs straight. But maybe that can maybe that's reversible that way for maybe, you know, the slugs can be I mean pellets can be shot at a slower twist rate, but not not, you know, slugs at a faster twist rate. I guess that's the case, because otherwise I'm sure they probably would have done one barrel that would work for both instead of having to develop a second barrel when they already gave you 3 with the gun. So I'm gonna do some shooting, and I'll show you guys how accurate this is. So let me just make sure. I don't think I cocked it, because I never do when I am not going to shoot it right away, because the trigger is so light, you can so easily hit it by accident. So just keep that in mind. I'm going for the center of the left-hand target. Nope. Let's see how it's so easy.
$957. 955. 956. 954.
That last one was just I think that was me. So that was 5 shots, and you guys can see how tight that group is. And that last one was just a little high, and I think that was my fault. Oh, and by the way, so it's the you guys know that I deal with stud. I shoot for stud, and the ultra pod that they made. So when he sent it to me, it was before it was on the market, and he had just made it. And I was testing it, and the only thing I could think of was something to hold the gun in place on the back of the on the monopod, and on the ultra pod. But it is an ultra pod because it's a universal monopod, so you can use this with any gun. But so like this gun fits in here perfectly. It's really good for this gun in particular. I haven't tried it with all of my guns, because he sent me this not that long ago. But like for the Ed gun, it's a little wide, but the Ed gun stock is narrow. You know, the back of the stock, because that's just for the bottle connection and all, and it just has a couple of small rubber pads. But I think like all the other guns that have a traditional stock are gonna sit in here perfectly. Like the Crown will sit in there right. The Pantera, I'm not sure. That has a kind of a narrow rip back too, because of the bottle there too. I'll have to test that one out, and plus it extends out, and that part's really narrow. But I think everything else other than the Ed gun and the Pantera is going to sit in it nice. Even like the Rattler will sit in here nice. The only gun that it doesn't really work with it is the Raw, because the front of the gun is so high that this doesn't raise high enough. But it does raise high enough for any traditional gun. That gun is just very high, the way that the front rail is. The front rail going underneath the bottle. Oh, that's I'm glad that I touched on that. You guys probably saw in the first part of this video, I had purchased the bottom rail for this gun. It's no good. It raises this gun up way too high, even higher than that, even higher than the Raw. It's too big. It's too big. So I ended up putting the scope a little further back than I wanted to, so that I could accommodate putting an overbore bipod, which has been great. It's it's a GRS overbore with the big feet, and it's I put rubber on the bottom of these feet, so they're very stable, and it's very consistent, and the barrel's tensioned, so it doesn't have any effect on the point of impact on this gun. Some guns, you know, if you use an overbore bipod and the bore is connected to the barrel, which it is on this gun. I mean, you know, the rail is connected to the barrel, which the barrel is integrated through this whole thing. It's tensioned at the end, and I'll show you guys how you switch the barrel liner, because it's very simple. I mean, it's like literally you undo the suppressor and you undo one nut, and the barrel liner comes right out. You just take that off, and then you take this out. So anyways, when Doug sent me the UltraPod to test, what I did is when I got my thermal imaging, my thermal clip-on, the clip-on came with thick rubber gaskets, like they're just padding to go on the inside of the clip-on piece if the end of your scope was more narrow. It's a 50 millimeter objective that it fits, which I in hindsight should have gotten a 56, but I got a 50, and I do have a lot of 50 millimeter scopes, but the 56 I just clip it onto the rail. It has a rail adapter too. Anyways, the point is that the pads I used as something to put on each side. I'll actually show you real quick. So this is the original one that I tested, and you see I mean, it's pretty thick rubber. I don't know if you guys can tell the depth, but it's pretty thick. It's like I think it's like 2 or 3, 4, maybe 4 millimeters. But it's I used those 3 to go around the stock of the gun to hold that in place, and then this turning is, you know, so when you adjust it, your gun is staying perfectly still, you know. And that with this, that works 10 times better. And I didn't really think, when he said I'll send you a new one, you know, the new design, I was like, you don't even have to, because I mean, I did the same thing with the rubber on mine. Just, you know, sell it. I don't want to cost you money. And he ended up sending it to me anyways. And when I tried it, I'm glad that he did, because it's actually a dramatic difference. It really is. I was very surprised. If you guys haven't tried one of these, you should give them a shot. If you have a handful of guns, I mean, when I had just the Impact, that's actually the first higher end air gun that I bought, was an Impact. And if you just have one gun and you have a monopod on it, then you won't have a use for it. But if you have a lot of guns like I do, or if you have multiple, even if you have 2 or 3, instead of buying 2 or 3 monopods, if you're like a bench shooter or an accuracy shooter, buy one of these, and it's going to be less expensive than even the buttstock that goes to the monopod, let alone the monopod too. And you know, you're gonna what the hell's going on here? And you're gonna have one for every gun you buy after that as well. It's not just for, you know, that gun or for one gun, it's for all your guns. So anytime you're doing anything on a bench, that it's perfect. I mean, I don't have any stock in the company or anything like that. It's just, it really works. It really does. So that's how easy it is to take the liner out. And now this piece here has a bushing that makes it sit really tight. It's inside here. Actually, there's 2. And they don't use like traditional O-rings. They use like the hard white material. Let me show you one. It's very interesting, because I'm surprised. I had already thought of this type of material and been curious why no airgun manufacturers used it, because this is a far superior material than the traditional like neoprene O-rings. It's like it's a dramatic difference. These will last so much longer than a traditional, you know, the black O-rings that you find in an FX or whatever. It's just so much harder, and yet still a little bit flexible, and it's a really good material. I don't know if it's expensive. I mean, these guys obviously went all out with this gun. They were trying to, you know, make a statement with this gun, because they spent a lot of money on oh, that's the night vision, the motion sensor turned off. They spent a lot of money, like, on the case, on the toolkit, on the extra barrels, on the, you know, in the toolkit is they give you a can of grease, they give you you know, all this whole kit of O-rings and springs and whatnot. They give you a set of Allen keys, this set of Allen keys on the table. They give you a whole, like, a real legit toolkit that you're going to need. So this is the material I'm talking about. It's hard. It's so much harder than a real O-ring, like a rubber O-ring. But it's a sort. I don't know what it's actually called. I have to look that up. I'm not sure what material it actually is. It's not silicone, but these other ones, are those? No, those are hard. No, these might be silicone. But silicone O-rings I've been wondering for even longer than the harder plastic, because those silicone I've known about since I started plumbing. So I don't know. I wonder that myself. And so, some of the guns I've used, I've changed them over to silicone, because it lasts so much longer. I mean, they're more expensive. That could be why. But overall, I would think a manufacturer would want to use especially like FX. I've seen like a walkthrough of their facility, and it seems like their facility is doing a lot of things to make sure that those guns are coming out top notch. So why wouldn't they use the best material? I don't know. Maybe it's just. Maybe it's not that they're being cheap. It might be that they didn't think of it. I don't know what it is. But anyways, these guys did. And it's the same thing I would have done if I was going to manufacture an air gun. I would use the best thing I could think of, and it would have been probably silicone. But when I looked into it, and if I found this other material, I would be using that too. So, and they do paintball guns all these years. They obviously know what works. So what I do is, this tightens up. Sorry about that. The compressor kicks on when the other tanks are low. Excuse me. So where was I? So you tighten this down. I see these are my pliers that I put shrink. That's heat shrink on it. It's for heavy wire, but so it's pretty thick. But I use that to tighten this brass nut. The brass, whatever, retainer, whatever you want to call it. And then there's a set nut, or a lock nut. And you tighten the lock nut down after you tighten that as far as it'll go. And then you tighten this up, so that'll set it in. And that's the tensioning at the end. And then the outer barrel is tensioned here. Can you guys see? Yeah, here, as well as in the back. So it's similar to an impact, the way that it's tensioned at the end when you get the barrel tensioning, which I ended up turning their original barrel into a tensioning system by furthering the threads and tightening it down, and then using the original clamp. And then I got the 800s that tensioned as well. But these guys thought of all that. So that's how you take the barrel out. I didn't end up switching the liner, because this one is shooting very well. I'm going to do a couple more 5-shot groups and show you guys how that turns out, and then I'll wrap it up. Oh, what am I doing? All right, I'm going to go for the right-hand side of that same target. Just gotta check. I know I don't cock it unless I'm gonna shoot it. I just always want to check. This trigger's so light. Whoa, that was way off.
957.
I haven't set up that thing. There's something on this gun that you can set up that, wow.
954.
It must be the tensioning. So I did just take the liner out. There's something on this gun that you can set up that makes the first shot, you know, like when you haven't shot your gun, you know, in a day or two or however long, the first couple shots will have to like settle in, and then you'll be back up to pressure or back up to velocity. I'm saying pressure because it really does have to do with pressure. Anyways, that they have a setup in this gun that will compensate for that, and I haven't set that up yet, but I think it's pretty cool that they thought of that. There we go.
957. 960. 956.
Damn, it's right in the same hole. Almost no difference. Oh, that one was a little left. I think that was me. I shifted a little bit. Same hole again. It was me.
956. 958.
Now let's start a 5-shot group without getting sloppy at the beginning from changing the barrel. Top circle.
957. 956.
Shooting a little high.
961. 959. 955.
Not a bad shot. Not a bad 5-shot group. This gun can do way better. I don't like taking the barrel in and out when I'm in the middle of shooting. I probably should have finished the accuracy stuff and then showed you how to change the barrel liner, but I don't like to do that while I'm shooting because I always have to adjust the gun after. But this isn't too bad for having just done something like that.
957.
Still a little high. There we are.
959. 957. 955. 953. 961.
Now that's the accuracy. I mean, that first shot that's separate from the one hole is the one that was high, and then I adjusted the scope, and the rest, I'm going to do one 5-shot group right now on the bottom. Let's see how this comes out.
$957.
Oof.
$954.
That's actually 5 right there. I just had one flyer. I'm not sure what happened there. That one actually wasn't me. I'm gonna go for that bottom circle. It has a couple of small holes in it, but I'm gonna probably knock it out. Oh, knocked the whole damn circle off. Motion sensor light in here went off. Let me try the top circle, see if that, actually I'm gonna go for the middle of the next target over, the triangle in the middle.
959.
I think that one was me. Nope.
956.
Maybe they were both me.
955.
Alright, I'll focus here.
$956. $958.
Yeah, it was me. Totally.
961.
Alright, bottom left triangle. Nope. Ammo. First. As soon as I get in the zone, of course. So now after this magazine, I'll show you guys, or after a couple of groups, I'll do one group with the cheap pellets, and I'll show you how dramatic of a difference it's gonna make. Because you see, this gun is like, those couple of shots were there in the couple of groups that were off were me, and now I'm going to focus and I'll shoot them all in the right spot. And if I do get a flyer, I got a flyer. But when I switch ammo, you'll immediately see inconsistency where you saw consistency momentarily ago. It's incredible that it just doesn't like them. I haven't tried any other pellets, so I can't speak to, I've only tried a couple, like the Hatsan or whatever, the cheap ones, and then these are not those. These are another manufacturer. They weren't that inexpensive. They were, you only get 100 of them instead of 150 or 200 with the 30 caliber Diablos, but they are not, they're not high quality pellets, I'll put it that way. But Hatsan doesn't make very high quality guns, so it's not really a surprise. I actually bought the Blitz because it was like the only full automatic air gun that I had seen at the time. This was a long time ago, and I couldn't get that gun to be accurate in semi-automatic and fully automatic. It was spraying all over the place. I mean, I couldn't even find where I was hitting to get the scope zeroed in, or attempt to get it zeroed in. I mean, nothing against the company. I'm sure they have guns that are good, but that gun, the one that I got, anyways, was not good. But that's I've had bad experience with other guns that people had good experience with, so I guess it's the luck of the draw sometimes. For instance, the last electric gun that I tried was the Delta Wolf, and I had if you guys saw the video, you know that I had a really shitty experience with that gun. And the reason for that is that it wouldn't shoot slugs for nothing. It didn't want to shoot slugs for anything. And the pellets were actually very accurate in the beginning, and then out to 50 yards they were you could get them accurately. When you got it out further, they were not accurate, and slugs weren't. And this is a gun that's advertised to shoot both. I mean, this gun, I already knew that they hadn't come out with the slug liner yet before I bought it, but I have my crowns for a bench rest gun, but I thought it would be potentially a good bench rest gun, which it is. I haven't 100% decided what gun I'm going to use next year, but for pellets, it very well may be this, and this exact setup with this scope. This is the scope I used this year on my crown. It's
959.
the Zeiss LRPS 5, and then I love my Burris, but the Z-Comp, that's absolutely my favorite scope. But I got it in 4-20 because it's more useful to me with the wider angle than the next step up is more than 5-25 like this. I think it's like 7 to 30 something, I want to say 7 to 40 or something, 7 to 30, maybe it's in the 40s, I'm not sure. Wait, 7, it's more than 35, I'm thinking times 5.